My wife recently shared an engagement photo featuring her assistant. In response, I made a comment that read, "Congrats, just tagging our divorce lawyer." Shortly after, the post disappeared, and moments later, she was frantically calling me, pleading for me to retract the screenshots I had sent to her parents. I am a 35-year-old man who has always considered himself quite straightforward. I work in data analytics, enjoying quiet evenings, predictable spreadsheets, and the comfortable silence that comes with a long-term relationship. For 7 years, I believed that my life with Chloe, who is 33, was progressing toward something meaningful. Little did I know, she was merely utilizing my resources to construct a completely different life. This incident unfolded just 3 hours ago. I was lounging on the couch, half watching a documentary while scrolling through social media, when I noticed Chloe was attending a prestigious industry awards dinner for her event planning business, Elysian Events. I felt a sense of pride for her and for the business I had helped her establish. Then, a notification caught my attention, a new post from her. It was not a team photo, but rather a professionally taken image of her and her assistant, Ethan, who was 28. He was on one knee, holding her hand with a new ring adorning her finger. The caption was nauseatingly cheerful. "A night of 1,000 stars, and I caught the brightest one. I said yes, #engaged. Love of my life, new beginnings." In an instant, the air was sucked from my lungs, and my blood ran cold. For a full minute, I could only stare, my mind struggling to process the reality. Engaged just last night, we had shared the same bed. She had kissed me goodbye that morning. Quick dismissive peck that I had brushed off. Now I understood it for what it truly was. An initial wave of furious rage surged within me. I wanted to smash my phone, to scream, to confront her and unleash my anger. But then, a more analytical part of my mind took over, the part that builds, models, and assesses outcomes. I recognized that outbursts would only lead to chaos and relinquish control. I refused to grant her that advantage. With a strange detachment, my fingers moved with precision. I took a screenshot of the post, saved the image, the caption, and the list of people who had already liked it. This data would serve as evidence. I composed a comment that was simple yet brutally effective. "Congratulations. My lawyer will be in touch tomorrow to discuss the assets." I hit send and forwarded the screenshot to her parents, David and Margaret, with a brief message, "I'm sure this is as shocking to you as it is to me. I'm so sorry." Next, I began my research. I opened my laptop and located the folder labeled Elysian Events LLC. I revisited the operating agreement my lawyer had crafted 5 years prior. While I had grumbled about the legal fees then, my lawyer had insisted on certain protections for my $150,000 investment, 70/30 ownership split, with me as the majority partner, and a clause ensuring my initial capital would be repaid first upon dissolution. A grim sense of validation washed over me. Suddenly, I noticed that the post had vanished from her feed in under a minute. My phone lit up with her name, but I let it ring. Text messages flooded in. "Chloe, call me now. Take down that comment. WTF is wrong with you? Parents are calling me in tears. Delete the screenshots, and Liam, you're ruining everything." The final text before I silenced my phone exposed her delusional state. "You have some nerve embarrassing me and my future husband like this?" Future husband. I surveyed the home I had purchased and the life I believed we shared. The volcano documentary I had been watching concluded, revealing how pressure builds silently beneath the surface, leading to an eruption that reshapes the entire landscape. Chloe had no idea that the ground she stood on was about to give way. As an update, I want to express my gratitude for the support I've received. It's reassuring to know I'm not losing my mind. Many of you warned me that this would turn chaotic, and you were correct. The storm hit at 2 a.m. last night, and the doorbell rang incessantly. I knew it was her. My heart raced as I walked to the door but chose not to answer. Instead, I watched her pacing on the porch, her face a mask of rage, through the camera feed on my phone. In a moment of no return, opened the app for our smart lock and proceeded to delete her access code and fingerprint. When prompted, you sure you want to remove this user? I confirmed my decision. Finally, I responded through the intercom. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, Chloe. Her voice was ragged, filled with a mix of anger and desperation. Let me in, Liam. This is my house. Chloe's voice was a mix of frustration and desperation. The title is in my name. Chloe, please go, I replied calmly, though my hands trembled slightly. We need to talk. You've blown this completely. Out of proportion, she insisted. A public engagement announcement is quite a significant proportion, I said, maintaining my steady tone. As she pressed her thumb against the lock scanner, nothing happened. With growing frustration, she entered her code, but the lock emitted a rejection tone. I watched her expression shift through the phone screen as realization dawned. It wasn't just my anger she was facing. I was actively taking control away from her. The transition from fury to genuine panic was unmistakable. You changed the code, she whispered, her voice breaking. I'm protecting my assets, I stated matter-of-factly. You should understand that. In response, she unleashed a torrent of abuse, her words filled with threats and names I'd rather not repeat. I cut off the intercom, observing her eventually give up and retreat to her car. The following day, the real games began. I received a call from her father, David, a stern figure from old money. He adopted a tone reminiscent of a disappointed headmaster. Liam, this public display is graceless. With respect, David, I replied. My wife announced her engagement to another man. I think the ship of grace has sailed, and she was the one who torpedoed it. She's a mess. She made a terrible mistake. It wasn't just one mistake. It was 1,000. The lies, the affair, the planning, the ring, the public post. That's not a mistake. That's a project plan. He sighed deeply. What? About the business. Don't ruin her over this. The business is a legal matter, I said, ending the call. That afternoon, the first dirty trick revealed itself. I received an alert from my bank, a debit card charge from the Elysian events, account at a luxury handbag store for $2,800. Because it was a debit charge, it processed instantly. Adrenaline surged through me as I immediately called the bank to report the card stolen and to begin freezing the primary account. While speaking with the fraud department, another alert arrived, a decline charge for $5,000 from a travel agency. I was too late to stop the purse, but I had managed to block the vacation. While frustrating, it was a small win and a clear sign that she was preparing for a scorched earth approach. The war had officially begun. And she had just provided me with my first piece of evidence for the financial battle that lay ahead. Update 2. This has been the longest month of my life. The divorce has been filed, but her lawyer is contesting every single point, attempting to frame the business as a marital asset. Despite the LLC agreement, my lawyer, Marcus, tells me this tactic is standard. Though it's taking a toll on me. Feel like I'm treading water amidst a sea of mounting legal fees. Chloe's sense of entitlement has only escalated. She has adopted a new strategy of portraying herself as the wronged party, launching a carefully orchestrated smear campaign. She's telling our mutual friends that I was a controlling husband, that I held the business over her head, and that my online outburst is proof of my emotional instability. A few people have bought into her narrative, which stings more than I care to admit. Ethan, her new fiancé, has also made a move that was more subtle than I expected. Instead of sending a brash email, he began calling key clients, introducing himself as Chloe's partner and the new head of operations. He was trying to establish personal relationships with our clients before I could legally secure them. I only became aware of this because one of our oldest clients, a woman named Carol, grew suspicious and called me directly. I don't mean to overstep. Liam, she said cautiously, but who is this Ethan fellow? He was trying to get me to sign a new contract under a different company name. The audacity took my breath away. They were attempting to poach our entire client list and restart under a new name, leaving me with nothing but the shell of the LLC that phone call served. As a critical wake-up call, the threat was more advanced than I had realized. The digital battle was becoming a nightmare, as many of you had predicted. Gaining control over the online presence, Instagram, the website, the Facebook page was complicated by the fact that all of them were tied to a recovery email linked to her personal account. For weeks, I was locked out of the company's online presence. Chloe maintained control over its public image, deleting any positive comments that referenced me while pinning those that lauded her singularly. It felt like a petty form of digital warfare. My breakthrough came unexpectedly while sifting through old shared documents in our cloud storage. Searching for financial records, I stumbled upon a spreadsheet from years past labeled Business Passwords. There it was, the original login for the Elysian Events Instagram account. My heart raced as I logged in, swiftly changed the password, and linked the account to a secure new email address. At last, I regained control over the primary platform. It felt akin to capturing the enemy's flag. That night, I meticulously documented every relevant detail and handed it over to my lawyer, Marcus. The attempted client poaching, the fraudulent debit card charge, the smear campaign, every action she had taken to undermine the business also undermined her legal claim to it. I felt utterly drained. This was no clean demolition. It was a grueling and ugly siege. There were days when I wanted to throw in the towel, dissolve everything, and walk away just to end it all. But then I remembered her face in that engagement photo. And I would log into my lawyer's client portal, uploading yet another piece of evidence. Final update. Hello, everyone. It's been a long and arduous journey. The divorce was finalized last month, and the 10-month battle was every bit as exhausting and costly as you can imagine. Her lawyer attempted to argue that the LLC was merely a facade to conceal marital assets. However, Marcus systematically dismantled that argument using the evidence Chloe herself had provided. The attempted wire transfers, the fraudulent charges, and the testimonies from the clients she had tried to poach painted a clear picture. She was not a partner trying to protect her stake. She was a departing employee looting the office. In the end, the judge upheld the LLC agreement. Chloe walked away with her 10% stake in the company's valuation after my initial capital was repaid, which amounted to around $22,000. She also received half the equity from the house, a significant sum, but nowhere near what she would have gained had she been awarded a stake in a thriving business. The real consequences were not financial, but professional. After I secured the digital assets and froze the accounts, I made my move. I knew I couldn't run an event company, but I could own one. For a month, I quietly searched for the right person and found Amelia, an exceptional senior planner at a rival firm. She was underpaid, frustrated, and eager for an opportunity. I offered her Chloe's former position, a substantial salary, and, crucially, a partnership track. I didn't just want an employee. I wanted someone invested in the success of the business. The first 6 months were challenging. We had to fight for every client. In her desperation, Chloe had bad-mouthed us to every vendor in the city. 2 major caterers refused to work with us. We were forced to build new relationships from the ground up. It was a slow and painstaking process, but we named our new brand Augustin Affairs, aiming for something that sounded timeless and strong. The turning point came with Carol, the client who had initially tipped me off about Ethan, a key figure. In the city's philanthropic scene, she had been appalled by Chloe and Ethan's tactics and became our biggest advocate. She hired Augustine Affairs for a significant charity gala, and Amelia executed it flawlessly. The event was a resounding success, and suddenly the tide began to turn. Vendors who had previously shunned us were now reaching out. The final blow to Chloe's professional ambitions came 2 months ago when Augustine Affairs was featured in a major lifestyle magazine. The 4-page spread celebrated us as a resilient and visionary event company redefining luxury, highlighting Amelia as a fresh new voice. It included a stunning photo of Amelia and her team in our office, the very space Chloe had designed and linked to our Instagram. It's the same account with 15,000 followers she had used to announce her fake engagement. I heard through the grapevine about Chloe and Ethan's downfall. Their relationship crumbled under the strain of financial failure. Their attempt to start their own company was a disaster. No one trusted them. Ethan now works in electronics retail, while Chloe, according to her father, moved 2 hours away to live with her sister, completely defeated. As for me, I am not the same man I was a year ago. I've become tougher and more cynical, but I'm okay. The rage has transformed into a quiet sense of closure. I sold the house and purchased a condo in a different part of town. Overseeing the business side of Augustan affairs has proven surprisingly fulfilling. I'm no longer just a data analyst. I'm a business owner. This wasn't a clean victory. It was a messy, brutal, and costly war of attrition. I bear the scars and the legal bills to prove it. But I also have a thriving business and my self-respect. Chloe wanted a new beginning. She got one, although it wasn't the one she envisioned. As it turns out, neither was mine. Mine is better.